Hello everyone, welcome to day 4, and this is your instructor Rizwan Mania once again in front of you to help you people to ace this paper known as performance management. So guys, are you excited about this day 4 session? Quickly say yes. Okay, that's nice. So I hope the previous 3 sessions gave you the confidence that was required for the paper, and it helped you to build up the concepts and gave you the extra understanding and the knowledge, right? So guys, we are starting with today's session, a very crucial one, I would say. And this session is uh, performance measurement. The day-wise plan is again in front of you people. So we are at day 4. Very important performance measurement is what we are aiming today. And again, we'll use the same strategy. Is that we'll start with questions, we'll look at the requirements, we'll go to that respective topic, we'll revise that, and we'll move on. So today's agenda is based on not-for-profit organization. Why I've chosen this topic? Because examiner is becoming really tricky in this area. If you just observe the past papers that are available on the ACCA platform, so you will not find any question that relates to not-for-profit organization. Okay, and that's strange because we need to have questions like these so that we can tackle things like these in the examination. We do have lots of questions for financial and non-financial performance indicators, but specifically based on VFM, value for money, there's no question available. Okay, so today I will be using a really good question where we will be focusing on not-for-profit organization, and you'll be very much well prepared now for the exam if NFPIs do come in your, sorry, VFM does come in your exam. Secondly, then we'll be moving towards the next area, and that next area is transfer pricing, one of the trickiest area ever. Lots of examiner report has mentioned that transfer price is tricky, so I would recommend you people to read examiner report of March 2020, December 2019, September 2019, June 2019, where examiner has mentioned a lot about transfer pricing, so that will give you a really good idea about that as well. Okay, we'll be doing a set question on that as well, so it will help you a lot. Then section B and section A, and yeah, it's the session break. So I've just made a small change in the session break, and that is instead of giving you break at 5:30 till 5:40, I'll give you 2 breaks from now. One break will be at 5, a 5-minute break, and second break will be given to you at 6, and that will also be a 5-minute break. Okay, so I think that makes more sense. Yes or no? Okay, so let's start. Here we go. Performance measurement, a quick idea of critical success factors known as CSFs. CSFs basically are those that are important for the success of any organization. Okay, so CSFs are linked with organization's mission. What is a mission? Mission is the purpose of an organization or the reason for existence. So critical success factors are very important things for the success of any organization. So those CSFs are important, and we need to determine that whether it's a profit organization or it is a not-for-profit organization. Okay, it's important to check these CSFs. It's important to check these critical success factors, and you check these through KPIs known as key performance indicators. So we use KPIs for checking the CSS, whether KPIs are good enough to check the CSS. So these are known as key performance indicators, and these are financial as well as non-financial. So financial indicators like gross profit margin, like net profit margin, like return on capital employed, like current ratio, like quick ratio, like percentage change in sales growth, like percentage change in profits. So these are FPIs, known as financial performance indicators, are important to measure the critical success factors. On the other hand, you have non-financial performance indicators as well, and those non-financial performance indicators are a one that focuses on non-financial aspects of a business, like customer satisfaction, uh, like productivity of a business, okay, like innovation capability of a business. So these are non-financial ones which are extremely important for the success of an organization. They are really important for the future of an organization, okay. So non-financial indicators are important for the future of an organization. So it's important to strike a balance between financial and non-financials so that we are able to check the performance of an organization in a balanced way. Okay. Now, having said that, now it's time to move towards a past paper question, and let's start with a past paper question and let's work back in the same way as we did yesterday. Okay. So I'm starting with a past paper question, and here we have the question. Now, what I'll do here first is I will read the requirement, as you all know, and through the requirement I will start my solution. So this is a not-for-profit organization question, and being not-for-profit, it will help you really to just understand how you need to tackle a question like this if it comes in exam. Lots of students have complained me in the past about this topic, and they struggle in this topic. So I thought, why not? This webinar should cover this as well, okay? Because my objective from day one, if you all know, my objective from day one was to touch the difficult areas so that you are able to understand things in the right way. Okay, my friends, so let's move on. First, I will read the requirement and will highlight or underline important things, and I want you people to quickly examine the requirement as well, what is being asked. It says, explain why non-financial performance indicators are particularly important to measure the performance of not-for-profit organizations such as TRH. Okay, so the question is asking you that why non-financial performance indicators are important for an organization, okay, like TRH. Now, first of all, a quick one, I'm not discussing what verb and object is right now. A quick one, if you can tell me, what do you think? Is this a application based question or it's a knowledge based one? Come on, let me look at the answers, what students are writing here. So they are writing that it's an application based question. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so it's application based question. You are right, exactly. The second one, justify one performance measure for each of the components of VFM used at TRH, and using that measure evaluate whether TRH is delivering value for money, VFM, or not. Okay, so come on, quickly tell me, what do you think? Knowledge based or application based? What do you think, guys? So the answers that I'm receiving are all in favor of application based. Okay, but we have few suggestions for knowledge as well, but it's application based exactly because you have to focus on TRH company. Okay, so it's application based. Okay, that's fine. So guys, both our application based question will give you a really good opportunity to ace this topic in your examination. So guys, are we ready? Yes, we are. So let's move on. Not-for-profit organization. Before I start with the concept of not-for-profit organization, I would want to talk more about non-financial performance indicators. Non-financial performance is extremely important for any organization, let it be profit one or not-for-profit one. Matters like, for example, customer satisfaction are really important, and we need to ensure that our customers are satisfied with the organization's performance. If customers are not satisfied, this means the organization will not go in long run. Okay, so customer satisfaction is important for an organization. Same goes for internal efficiency of an organization is very much dependent on the staff organization has employed, how much motivated the staff members are, their motivation, their morale, all is dependent on this, and this means it will have a very good impact on business internal efficiency. So again, it's the non-financial aspect. Non-financial aspect is something which is not dependent on financial statement numbers. It is not based on gross profit margin or net profit margin or sales of an organization. These are other aspects of the business. And if I just give you quick examples of these non-financial performance indicators, so I would say, for example, percentage of customer returns. Now, this is a different type of a thing that is non-financial, right? Plus the number of repeat customers. This is also a non-financial information that you are getting, okay? Then you have number of new products launched. This is also non-financial. So remember, for the success of an organization in the long run, it is important that the business is satisfying its customers, it is improving itself in the future, and for that, it's important to focus on non-financials. And one more thing, if your non-financials are good, your financials will also be good in the future. If you are satisfying your customers, if you are making them happy, if you're innovating in the future, so this means your future financial numbers will also be good. Okay. Okay, so this means to ensure good financial, you need to have really good focus on non-financials. Okay, now after discussing the importance of non-financial, let's now move towards the not-for-profit area, and let's see what not-for-profit organization is. So please do listen to this, do listen to what I'm saying right now. Let's focus on this and let's ace this topic, and let's make this really easy for you. So I hope I will be able to make this really easy for you, and I will first give you a good recap. We'll set up the basis and the concepts, and then quickly we'll take you towards the past paper question. An unincorporated organization which exists for educational or charitable reasons, for which its shareholders or trustee do not benefit financially. Now, not-for-profit organization is an organization that doesn't exist to maximize profits. Okay. Now the question comes in the mind, do they earn profits, or are they allowed to earn profits? So the answer is yes. They do earn profits. They are allowed to earn profits. So there are two types of that. One that doesn't earn profits, and second that does earn profits. So I would say a not-for-profit organization is a one that does earns profit, okay, and one is that doesn't earn profit. So I would say profit earning is the one category, not earning profit is the other category. Okay. Now keep this in your mind. Okay, keep this in your mind that whether they are earning profits or they are not earning profits, their ultimate goal is not to earn profit. So a not-for-profit organization is a one whose ultimate objective is not to earn profits, but they can earn profit or they might not earn profit. Okay, so there are different types of that. Normally, the one that don't earn profits are basically government controlled ones. We call these as public sector ones. Okay, normally the ones that don't earn profits are public sector ones, are government controlled organizations, and these are the ones that are using the funds of the government. They are using government as their main donor or a funder, and government funds them, and then they run their operations accordingly. So yeah, these are the ones that are based on government a lot, and because they don't earn their own profit, so they need donation and funds from the government. So these are public sector ones. Normally those are profit oriented, so they might earn profits through their revenue, so they can just feed themselves and just run their operations. Like for example, ACCA is a not-for-profit organization, but they do earn profits. But the question is, what ACCA does for that profit? So that profit is not distributed amongst the shareholders. In fact, that profit is invested again in the purpose of education, or the purpose to ensure that ACCA becomes better and better qualification. So they are reinvesting their funds in that main objective of improving education. Okay, so this is clear. So profit or not-for-profit, there are two types. Not-for-profit organizations are one in which there are two subcategories. Number one, they can earn profits or they might not earn profits. Normally, the one that doesn't earn profits are government controlled, which are public sector organizations where government is funding them. Moving towards the key differences compared to profit organization. So please be with me. This is very important to understand. Key differences compared to profit organization. So let's see what are the key differences if I compare a not-for-profit with a proper profit organization. So what is the difference? Okay, first of all, objective is different. Profit organization objective is maximization of profit, whereas not-for-profit organization, even the one that earns profit, okay, not-for-profit organization doesn't have the objective of profit maximization. In fact, the objective is to do that work in the best way for which they are established, like the welfare work, like a school, if they are running a school, like a hospital, so they have to run hospital in the best way. So their objective is not maximization of profit. So this is the first difference between profit oriented and not for profit. Second, they do have multiple stakeholders. If you talk about a profit organization, I'm talking about a proper profit organization. So that profit organization is based on shareholders, and shareholders is their ultimate priority, and shareholder is their most important stakeholder. So whatever work they do for the sake of their shareholders. Whatever decision they take to improve the wealth of the shareholder. But when it comes to a not-for-profit organization in which there are lots of stakeholders, for example, let's take an example of a school. Okay, so school purpose is to provide education to students, the students who cannot afford to go to the private schools. So the first group of stakeholder is the students. Okay, so their objectives are important, and what students expect from a school. So if I ask you what students expect from a school, so what you will tell me in return? You will say students expect high quality education, so they need to fulfill their objective of high quality education. But at the same time, the other stakeholder will be the government, who is providing the funds. Government is giving the donations and the funds, and on the other hand, government wants that the funds should be utilized in the best possible way, or companies should not spend too much on different luxurious things, even if it is compromising quality. So at the same time, that school has to manage the objectives of government as well. Like this, there is another important stakeholder, that is employees. Employees know that they work in not-for-profit organization, but Their own salary is important. They need rewards. They need salaries. Okay, irrespective of the restriction of funds placed by the government. So you see, there are so many people who have expectations from a not-for-profit organization. So this is something difficult to deal actually. So this is a major difference if I compare not-for-profit with a profit organization, because in a profit organization, the ultimate priority is given to shareholders, whereas in not-for-profit, you need to consider government, you need to consider employees, you need to consider customers, you need to try to fulfill their objectives. Okay. The third challenge that comes in a not-for-profit organization is the use of funds. Okay, so for that, let's move towards the next slide. Okay, now use of funds. Do understand? Here I will introduce the concept of economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. And right after this, we'll jump towards our past paper question to solve that question. Okay, and I'll show you a practical application. This will remove all the threat that you have in your mind and heart relating to not-for-profit and value for money. Now, what use of fund issue is? In a profit organization, if you work somewhere, you will understand my point in a better way. If you work in some profit organization whose objective is to earn maximum profit, so if they are taking your services in return for the salary that they give you, so they will always check the amount that they give you as a salary and the services that they get in return from you. Okay, so they are always inclined in comparing the services that they are getting against the salary they are paying, which means if you are not working good or providing a good service, so they might think to reduce your salary. Okay, because it's closely related to each other. There is a very good correlation. I'm sure you have heard this word in your management accounting, regression and correlation. So there's a very good correlation in a profit organization between the service and the salary that you get. But when it comes to public sector, not-for-profit organizations, especially public sector, not-for-profit organizations, especially, in that you will not see that good correlation between funds and the quality of service. Let me give you the example. If government is funding a school, every employee knows that they will get the salary at the end of the day. Another example is of police. If government is funding the police sector of a country, so every policeman knows that they will get the salary at the end of the day. Whether they provide you good safety, security, they get the service, they get the salary. Yeah, I can say not many police in the world are very efficient and effective. How much citizen feel security is something really subjective, right? So, talking about the police service, if they are not providing good safety, security to the citizens, but still they get the salary because government is funding them and government has to pay the policemen, which means there is a weak relationship in a not-for-profit organization between the funding and the level of service that is received by the customers. Whether they could give you good service or they give you bad service, they get the funds, they get the salaries, government will fund them. So the point I'm making here is that if you compare the relationship of the service and the funds in a profit organization, so you will find a better close relationship, whereas in not-for-profit organization, especially public sector one where government is funding, so you will not find that good relationship as it was in a profit organization. Here, funding is given by the government. They will continue to fund whether they are getting good service or not. Okay. Now, if this is the case, listen to me carefully. If this is the case where it is not clear that how the funds are being utilized, whether funds are being utilized in the right way or not. So for that, the solution is value for money. So if there is an organization whose performance has to be assessed, so the answer to this is value for money. Now, value for money is a technique which will actually check whether the funds that are given by the government are being used in the most effective way or not. So, through this, we are able to give feedback to the donors, to the contributors, that their funds are being used in the right way or not. So let's see how value for money is useful in assessing the performance of a not-for-profit organization. So listen, my friends, if a question comes on not-for-profit organization, so if you're required to assess the performance of that organization, so what you can do is you can assess the performance through economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Now let's come in towards each one by one. Economy is an input measure, okay, which measures whether resources used are cheapest possible for the quality required. So yes, economy being an input measure, what it does, it basically checks whether the input resources that are used by the not-for-profit organization are the cheapest possible ones or not. Let me give you quick examples and listen. Not only listen my examples, but I would definitely recommend you to copy the points that I'm writing here, so that it gives you a good notes as well, and later on it will help you in the past papers. Okay, so please note down what I'm saying here. So it's an input measure, as I mentioned. For example, taking an example of a school. Okay, so school, I would say school. uh, so what are the resources that are mainly used in schools? So it's teachers. So main resource in a school is teachers. Okay, great. Now, if I give you an example of a hospital, so the main resource used in hospital is what? Doctors and nurses, for example. Okay, doctors and nurses, right? Okay, so doctors and nurses. So these are the main resource. Now, what economy says? Economy says whatever resources you are inputting to give a service, like teachers you are using, doctors you are using, the cost of these resources should be minimum. Minimum, okay? So this means that the cost of the teacher should be minimum. It should be cheapest possible teacher. It should be cheapest possible doctor. But now one concern that can come in your mind is that if you go for so cheapest option, it might have a very bad impact on your quality. So yes, it says that cheapest possible for a required quality. So you have to determine the standard of a quality, and keeping that in mind, you have to find the cheapest possible option. So what I would say here is that the cost or a salary of a teacher for the required quality. Now, the salary of a doctor for a required quality, and it should be the cheapest one. So this is economy, which actually focuses on input resources cost. Okay. Now the second question that comes, how we will check whether business is economical or not. So for that we need to have measures. For that we need to have measures. Okay, measures. So what measure is useful in case of a school? Example here. So I would say cost per teacher is a measure. This is an indicator. This could be a KPI which will check whether the business is economical or not. So it's cost per teacher. If cost per teacher is lowest, this means yes, the company is offering economy. If cost per doctor is lowest for a required quality, so we would say that hospital is using its resources, its funds in an economical way. So the measure that will actually check economy will be completely based on two things. Number one, the cost and the input resource. The cost and the input resource. So the best way to find out a measure, and once I'll move towards the past paper, so I will ask you people what measure is important in that scenario. So I need to look, I'll just observe your answers to see whether it's clear to you or not. So if you want to decide an economy measure, so that would be found out by cost divided by teacher, which means you have to consider cost in that and the resource of input in that. So through these two things, the cost and the resource input, you can figure out a measure. As I made here, cost per teacher, cost per doctor, cost per worker. So this is a measure of economy. And remember, in this measure, you will find two things: the amount that you are investing and the input resource, such as cost is in numerator and the resource input is in denominator. Okay, so this is how you can figure out the measure, by thinking about the cost of that resource and setting an indicator. Okay, after this we have another one, and that is efficiency. Now what does efficiency measure? So efficiency measures productivity. Okay, efficiency basically is known as an input to output measure. It's an input to output measure. Input to output measure. Okay, so it's basically input to output measure. Now what efficiency does is that efficiency uses two things: the input resource and what output the resource is giving. Try to understand. Okay, so it covers both how much you get out in relation to what is put in, which means your resource is teacher. Okay, so what teacher does? Come on, tell me what teacher does, friends. Teacher will tell you jokes? No, teacher will teach. Okay, teacher will teach. So what output is for a teacher? Right now I'm teaching you. What is my output? My output is how many students I'm teaching right now is my output. Okay, so I'm teaching 200 students right now, for example. So in efficiency, what we consider is input and output relationship. That is how much output your resource is actually giving you. How much output your resource is actually giving you, and that output should be the best maximum output. Okay, best maximum output. So this is efficiency. Now how to measure this? How to measure this? That is important to consider, how to measure this. Okay, so the best way to measure this is to think about both input and the output you are getting from that. So you can use both here as a measure. So what I can say here, students per teacher, how many students I am teaching is efficiency. Either I'm teaching more students or I'm teaching less students. This is my efficiency. Okay, plus patients treated per doctor. Patients treated per doctor is a measure of efficiency. How many patients a doctor has treated? So this is efficiency. Okay, so yeah, there are two measures that I've mentioned here. In parallel, I'm giving you examples of example of a school and a hospital. So this is efficiency: students taught per teacher, patients treated per doctor. This is efficiency, and this measure will tell you whether efficiency or productivity of the resource is good or not. So quickly, the last thing, if you have to think about an indicator or a measure of efficiency, my friends, what you have to do, remember that measure will include both the output, that is student, and the input, that is teacher. So it's output in the numerator and input in the denominator, and this is how you can easily figure out an indicator for efficiency. Okay, so mark my words, output divide by input, right? It's like this: patients treated is output, divide by input is doctor. So this will tell you the idea and will give you idea about efficiency. Okay, come on, what's your feedback? Is my lecture good? Is it giving you a clear idea what you have to do? Come on, tell me. Okay, so quickly tell me. If you want to make a measure of economy, what will you keep in your mind? Cost and the input resource. Okay. And if you want to, and if you want to, yeah, and if you want to find efficiency measures, so what you will keep in your mind? Come on, tell me. Output and input. Yes, perfect. This is what I want you to learn. The last is effectiveness. Okay. And after that, we are quickly jumping towards the question again. Effectiveness is what? Effectiveness says that whatever your outcome is, whatever your outcome is, whatever your output is, that should be achieving the objective. Whatever your output is, that should be achieving your objective. So if your outcome or output is objective achieving, that is good. Now you tell me, come on, quickly. What objective an institution should have? Institution objective. Come on, tell me, what objective an institution should have to ensure people fail or pass? What I'm asking. Pass. Okay. So at the end of the day, if students are passing, the objective is being achieved. Right? Now you tell me, objective of a hospital. What will be the objective of a hospital? Doing treatments or cure? Is treatment the objective or cure the objective? Yeah, the objective is cure. Doing treatment doesn't guarantee cure, okay? So the objective is to get cure. People should be cured by that. Clear? So yeah, the objective is cure. So effectiveness does what? It checks whether your output that you have produced is achieving the objective or not. That's it. It checks, it measures the impact that has been achieved, which can be either quantitative or qualitative. So what it does, it checks whether the output that you have achieved is achieving the objective or not. Okay, so in effectiveness, we just check whether the objective is achieved or not. And how we do that? A quick example here. Percentage successful treatments versus target. Okay, percentage successful treatment versus target, which means, for example, the target is 90% and your percentage successful treatments are 50%. Now you tell me, is the objective achieved? Come on, is the objective achieved? No, it's not. It's not achieved. Okay, so percentage successful treatment versus the target is giving you the idea whether this has achieved or not. So whenever we are measuring effectiveness, it's always good to see what the target is if you are given in the question. Okay, if you are given in that question, so always for effectiveness, just compare the target with what you have achieved. If you have achieved the target, so it's effectiveness. If you haven't achieved the target, it's not effectiveness. Okay, so yeah, you compare with something here, so to get the idea whether you have achieved that or not. Because if 50% is the successful treatment done by you, but if you don't have any target, so how would you say that it's good or bad? How you will say you achieved it or not? Okay, because you need to have something to compare with. So comparison is important, right? So to measure effectiveness, it's very much important that you have to check whether it is achieving the target or not. Okay, now quickly the last thing, for school, how we will measure effectiveness? Let's look at your options. For school, what indicator is important for effectiveness? Come on, tell me. Pass rates compared to other institution. Yeah, pass rate compares to other institution, or pass rate compares to ACCA global pass rates. Getting the point? Our pass rates compared to ACCA global pass rates is giving you effectiveness. Okay, so if my objective is to cross ACCA global pass rates, so what I'll do, I'll check my pass rate with ACCA global pass rate to see whether I've achieved my objective or not. Okay, clear? Did you get my point? Okay, so yeah, so whenever you are measuring effectiveness, do consider whether we are fulfilling the objective or not. And yes, to fulfill and to check whether we are fulfilling the objectives or not, we have to read objective given in the question very carefully. Because if there is some objective given, so we need to find out what objective that is so that we can easily consider that and see whether we are achieving that or not. Are you getting my point? It's very simple method I'm telling you. If any objective is given, so just quickly look at that and see whether we are achieving that or not. If you are achieving, it's effectiveness. If you are not, it's not effectiveness. So my discussion is end here, the basic discussion. Come on, quickly tell me, economy measures what? Economy is an input measure, right? Input measure. Okay. What is efficiency? Efficiency is an output measure. What is efficiency? Efficiency is an output measure, right? And what is effectiveness? What effectiveness checks? So effectiveness will check what? Effectiveness will check whether we are achieving the objectives or not, right? Okay, done? Clear? Okay, simple, understood, explanation is good and clear. Okay, that's good. Now let's move towards the scenario and let's apply what all we have learned here. Rosemary and Rhyme Hospital is a small hospital for treatment of patients with only minor injuries. Okay, so scenario is important. For performance measurement section, scenario is important. Patients arriving at TRH with more serious injuries are referred to a larger hospital nearby. Okay. Those with minor injuries are admitted to TRH. Okay. And wait to seen by a doctor. Okay. Right. After treatment, most patients leave the hospital and need not return. Okay. If treatment has failed, they are readmitted for additional treatment. Now you tell me, failing of a treatment is achievement of objective or not? Come on, try to relate the things. Learn how to relate. Failing of a treatment is what? Achieving of the objective or not? Not. Okay. So that is easily being linked with effectiveness. See how easy it is if someone tells you what to do. Okay. So I'm telling you here, easily linked here. Right. Now, patients do not have to pay for treatment at TRH. They do not have to pay, which is not for profit, public sector hospital. It is funded entirely by the government from taxation, and fixed level of funding is received. Fixed level of funding is received from the government each year. Fixed level of funding is given by the government each year. It is up to TRH to allocate its funding to different areas such as doctor salaries, medicines, and all other costs required to run a hospital. I hope this is clear. It's a public sector organization. It's a not-for-profit organization. Okay. Okay. So it's a public sector organization and it is funded by the government. It is funded by the government. Are you getting my point? Okay, you want me to zoom it? Okay, fine. I hope it's better now. So it's funded by the government, right? Now, TRH objectives are, let's look at the objectives. To give prompt access to high quality medical treatment for hospitals, for patients, sorry. Okay. To provide value for money. Now, what is value for money? Economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Okay. For the taxpayers. Obviously, the public pays the tax to the government and then government funds the hospital. Okay. By 3 is framework of economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. To contribute to medical science by developing innovative ways to deliver treatments to patients. So there are 3 objectives. 1, to provide high quality treatment. Number 2, to achieve VFM. Number 3, to do innovation, to bring innovation in treatments. Okay. It has been suggested to TRH that hospital has inadequate performance measurement system in place to assess whether it's achieving its objectives, and that insufficient attention is given to the importance of non-financial performance indicators. Okay, so they are not giving importance to NFPIs here. You have been asked for your advice and have met with some of the doctors to get their opinions. Okay, so let's see what doctors has to say. So let's quickly move towards doctors. One senior doctor has told you, I think TRH always delivers value for money. Okay, they say we provide value for money. We always achieve our financial budgets. Okay, great. Doctors here work much longer hours than colleagues in other hospitals. Okay, so our doctors are working more than the normal hours, often without paid for overtime. Okay, so they're not paid for overtime. That's bad. There is not enough government funding to recruit more doctors because you have a fixed level of funding, so you can't recruit more doctors. It's a fund restriction. At busy times, we have started referring more patients arriving at TRH to larger hospital nearby. Okay, so what they do, they start, transferring the patients. This has helped reduce average waiting times. So because of this, now people don't have to wait much. Patients arriving at the hospital are now seen by doctor within 3 hours 50 minutes rather than 4 hours as was previously the case. So remember, it's a minor injury, so that is acceptable. For major, I think if they are taking that much time, so that person will not be alive and will go up. Okay. So we're already doing all we can. I don't know how much time we spend developing innovative ways to deliver treatment to patients, though, as most of the performance data we doctor receive relates to financial targets. Okay, so yeah, they're focusing a lot on financial numbers, right? Now, the data is in Appendix 1, as you can see here. Let's have a good look at the data. It's number of doctors, total doctor salaries including overtime, total doctor salaries budget including overtime, number of patients treated, average staff satisfaction rating, number of patients readmitted. So here we have a combination of financial and non-financial. Okay, now this is non-financial. Okay, this is financial, this is financial, this is non-financial, this is non-financial, this is non-financial. Okay, so we have a combination of financial and non-financial here. Are you getting my point, everybody? Is this clear? Say yes or no. Now this is a very important scenario. Okay, and I'll make this so easy for you. So everybody clear? Great. Okay, now average, national average is given to you. National average for other public sector minor injury hospitals. So you have the average as well, and whenever we have an average, we compare with that, because when you compare, you get to know whether you are good or bad. Otherwise, anything that you look at isolation is never easy for you to decide whether it's good or bad. Staff satisfaction rating was obtained by conducting a survey of all 25 doctors. A survey score of 100% represents total satisfied, 0 represents total unsatisfied. So this is the scenario, not a very complicated one, nice balanced scenario where things are given here. Let's attempt the first requirement and let's see what we will be doing here. It says explain. So explain is verb. Okay. Why NFPI are important to measure the performance of not-for-profit organization. Okay. So object is what? Object is why NFPI are important. Okay. So this is the object. Now you have to explain why NFPI are important. Okay. For company like not-for-profit organization. So a quick one. What do you think? What do you think? A raw thought. What is coming in your mind? Is non-financial important for public sector? What's the first initial thought coming in your mind? Okay, and quickly, general points. Why? I just want to see your understanding and knowledge. Why? Because they are not profit based. Okay, And what's the second one? Quality focused. Okay. Okay, just think why it's important for, especially for not for profit. Okay. Now, I'll tell you why. It's a 5-mark requirement. Okay, 5-mark requirement. Let's move towards our slides, and we have tip of the day. Tip of the day says section C, narrative questions. Answering narrative question requires a structured approach using clear paragraphs and headings where possible. Okay, so structured approach, clear paragraphs with headings, heading and a paragraph. Use word item type in CB. You should jot down a very short answer plan of bullet points. Just think about plan. And what is that? The same plan that I showed you every time in previous days, known as answer pointers. Okay. And then these bullet points essentially become the heading of your answer. So just a small plan you can just make. Each paragraph should make one clear point and state why that point is relevant to the company in the question. So yeah, linking is important. Why it's important for the company. Okay, so this is tip of the day for section C. The verb that has been used right now is explain. So let's see what explain requires to do. What we need to do in a verb explain. Let's read. This means that you need to give a reason for something. Give a reason for something. Explain. In explain what you do, you give a reason for something. Why NFPI are important. So give the reason. Tell the reason why NFPI is important for this hospital company. Tell the reason. Say why it is as it is rather than just stating that it is. It is a very common requirement and appears many times in study guide. It requires understanding as well as knowledge. So when you are required to explain, you have to explain by giving reasons. And reasons should be according to the question. Reasons should be according to the question. Okay. So now I've given you the understanding of what explain the verb is. The verb is okay. So to tell why NFPIs are important for this hospital business. Okay. So in explain, we tell the reason. Now, part A. Let's find the reasons. I'll go to the scenario first. I will not show you the answer. I will find answer from the scenario. And this is the uniqueness that I do. And I'll change the color. In fact, let's use highlighter today. And let's highlight where are the points. Okay. Points that will give you the reason why NFPI is important for this business. Okay. So just look here. It's a not-for-profit organization. It's a not-for-profit organization. Oh, it's not working. Anyways. Yeah. It's a not-for-profit organization. This is the first point. Because it's a not-for-profit organization, it will have multiple objectives. So for multiple objectives, you require non-financial. What are the objectives? You can see here. High quality medical treatment. Okay, right? They need to develop innovative ways to deliver treatments. Now, high quality. So if you want to measure quality, you need to focus on financials or non-financials. You tell and decide. Come on, I want to see your answers. If your focus is on quality, so for quality, what you need? Tell me, guys. You need financials or non-financials? Come on, you tell me. Mainly the focus should be on financials. Mainly financials. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Non-financials. Yeah, non-financials. Mainly non-financials. You want to develop innovative ways. So for that, what? Innovative ways. Again, non-financial. Number of new products you have launched, non-financial, right? So this is again non-financial. I'm giving you the reason. So because it is a not-for-profit organization, it has multiple objectives, and this means it needs to focus more towards non-financial. Plus, their objective has stated themselves that they want to provide high quality treatment, they want to innovate as well. So for all these, it is very clear that the focus should be on non-financials, and you can't just focus on financials. Okay, so let's go to the answer area and let's see. Right now I'm showing you in bullets, but you have to use paragraphs. It is not for profit organization, so profit is not primary focus. Reason number one for focusing on non-financial. Second, financial objectives are less relevant than for most commercial organizations, and its objectives are mainly non-financial in nature because it's a not-for-profit organization. Its objectives are different. Okay, so what are these objectives? Provide high quality treatments. Now, this is a linking that you are doing with the scenario, and this will award you complete 5 marks. Don't write general points about non-financial. No, link with the scenario. And wants to develop innovative ways for treatment. So, what I've done, I have mentioned their objectives that were written there. And I'm using these objectives as a base to tell the examiner, look, examiner, they are focusing on non-finance, look, their objectives are these, and these requires focus on non-financials. Are you getting my point, friends? Okay. Moreover, also there are multiple stakeholders like hospital. So, can you tell me stakeholders? Patients require high quality treatments. Government providing donations. Taxpayers requiring value for money. Are you getting my point? Okay. Society, staff, so many stakeholders. Their objectives like patient needs high quality treatment. Patient needs treatment. Patients are not concerned. Patients are not concerned that the funds are fixed. Yeah, funds are fixed. Yeah, funds are fixed. Where it is written? See, here we have funds are fixed. Patients are not concerned that funds are fixed. They need high quality treatment. Okay, irrespective of limited financial funds. Because of this, the focus should be on non-financials. Getting the point? You need to have non-financial indicators like percentage satisfied customers, okay, number of repeat patients, okay, positive feedback from patients. Non-financial is very much important here. So many stakeholders with different objectives in a not-for-profit organization. So for that, it's important to focus on non-financial aspects. You can't just focus on financials here. I hope you're getting the point. What's your feedback? Come on, what's your feedback? Is it becoming easier for you or not? Tell me, what's your feedback? Okay, so are you understanding my methodology that I've adopted here? The methodology that I've adopted here, is it making more sound, sensible? Okay, done. Now, I've mentioned here the reasons which are clearly favoring non-financial indicators importance. Okay, non-financial indicators importance. Are you getting my point? So this is what you have to write in multiple paragraphs, as we just saw in tip of the day, that that you can use multiple different paragraphs for explaining different points. So you can use different paragraphs for explaining different points, and these are the points that are linked with the scenario and giving you a clear idea that yes, non-financials are important for a business like TRH. Okay, true. Understood, my friends? Okay. So this is what I have to write here for 5 marks. That's enough. I've made my point. I've linked with the scenario. Things were mentioned here that I could have easily linked here. Did you all understood, right? No bullet points. No bullet points. In short, small paragraphs. In short, small paragraphs. Okay? Okay. Now, it's time for the first break, as I mentioned, a 5-minute break, and then we will come back and we'll solve part B. Part B. Okay? So let's take a 5-minute break, a quick one. Those who are new today in my session, this is my WhatsApp number at below. If you're not part of the groups, just send me a quick WhatsApp. I'll send you the link of the group so that you are in the group, and that will help you to further interact and participate with me. And I'll share the details as I always do. The handouts, the $1 million plan will be shared there. So please just send me a quick WhatsApp if you're not part of the group. Let's start with 5-minute break. Okay, welcome back after the 5-minute break, exact 5 minutes. So now let's move towards the next part, which is very interesting, and let's make this easy for you. So here we are. Okay, now 10-mark requirement. Let's identify verb and objects. It says justify one performance measure for each component of value for money used at the company, and using that measure, the performance measure, evaluate whether TRH is delivering value for money or not. Okay, delivering value for money or not, right? 10 marks. How we'll split this, and how many verbs are there? How many verbs are there? Okay, so let's figure out that, and you also decide. The first verb is justify. Justify. What to justify? The object is performance measure. So justify the performance measure that you will use. Okay, for each economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. Okay, clear? Justify. Second, it says using that measure, whatever you found out, evaluate whether company is delivering value for money. So using the measure that you have justified, you just evaluate whether company is achieving value for money or not, which means measure. You will check whether company is achieving value for money or not. Okay, it's a 10-mark requirement which required you to justify, right? Which required you to justify one measure, and using that measure required you to check whether company is delivering value for money or not. Clear? Okay. So verb and objects are clear. I'll tell you the marking scheme as well. Now we have the indicators above. Let's start very quickly, and let me see what you people will work out. Okay, let's start with the first one. For economy, what will be the indicator? Come on, tell me. Let me see what you're writing here. For economy, keeping the data in mind, the data you have in mind, what can you work out for economy? Okay, what can you work out for economy? Now resource is doctors, input resource is doctors, and the cost is their salary, right? So what measure can you think here? Okay, the measure is, yes, it's salary per doctor. Salary per doctor. Can you work out this? Yes, you can. It's not difficult. 3.75 actual, okay, divided by 25 doctors for TRH, and second 4.2 here divided by 24 doctors. Getting the point? Is it difficult? Come on, tell me. I'll tell you the marking scheme then. Is it difficult? No. So salary per doctor, salary given to you, divide by number of doctors. It's resource doctors. So we have worked out the cost per doctor. So how much is the answer? 3.75 divided by 25. So it's 0.15 here and 4.2 divided by 24, it's 0.175. Simple. Okay. Now, if I ask you why you chose this measure, why did you choose this measure? Why? So what you will justify? You will say because this is one that will measure the cost per doctor, which is the key thing for an organization. For a business like this one, where salary of a doctor is crucial, so cost or salary per doctor will give you a good idea about the cost that you are bearing for each doctor. Justify. So we are done with this one. Let's go to the answer and let me show you how to handle this. Economy. Economy, a quick small definition would be good. Means obtaining resources at low cost. Okay. TRH, it's 0.15, 0.175. Salary per doctor. Salary per doctor. Why did we choose this one? Let's have a look. Doctor salaries will be significant expense. Okay. So salary per doctor is suitable measure of economy because this is a significant expense. We have to justify why we are using this. Okay. Done. Justification. Is this a good measure? Yes. Great. Now, we had to justify, and after that, remember, we had to measure the performance. So how will I measure? I'll compare TRH with the national average and we'll see who is performing better. Now you decide who is performing better, TRH or national average. I need your answers. I need this to be interactive. National or TRH? Okay, so let's have a look here. Who is performing better? TRH is performing better because cost per doctor of TRH is less than the cost per doctor of national, which means our hospital cost per doctor is less. So in case of economy, we are better. And why? Try to link this with the scenario. Why our cost is less? I'll show you a very good connection here. And you will be, really happy. See, this could be the reason. They are not paid overtime. They are not paid overtime. So their salary doesn't include overtime. And that is why their cost is less. Wow. See, a clear link here. They are not paid overtime. So awesome connection. This may be due to that they work unpaid overtime. Get it? It may also be one of the reasons for staff dissatisfaction. There is a possibility they are dissatisfied. Yes, they are dissatisfied. Let's have a look here. Are they dissatisfied? Yeah. See, their satisfaction rating is 9%, whereas national satisfaction rating is 89%. So link, everything has to be linked with a scenario. You can't write on your own. This is the beauty of performance measurement. This is the beauty of financial, non-financial, where you have to link everything with the scenario. Getting the point, my friends? Okay. So in case of economy, we have performed better than the national because our cost is low. Great. Clear? Now let me tell you the marking scheme. I'll make you perfect here. It was a 10-mark requirement. Yeah, it was. So 10 marks requirement, and there are 3 things to be written here. Economy, efficiency, effectiveness. So just split the marks 3.33, 3.33, 3.33. No one will tell you such a marking scheme. 3.33, 3.33, 3.33. Okay. And what was the requirement? You had to justify and evaluate the performance. Was it that? Yeah. So let me tell you the marking scheme. 1 mark for calculation, 1 mark for justification, 1 mark for assessing the performance. Assessing the performance. That makes how much? 3. And 0.33 marks for a quick definition of economy. Quick definition of economy. So 0.33 marks, 1 mark for calculation, 1 mark for justification, and 1 mark for the measurement that we performed better than the national one. 3.33. Love it? Okay. The marking scheme. Okay. Now, efficiency. Quickly decide and tell me about efficiency. What you think is good to work out for efficiency here? Remember for efficiency what I told you? What I told you? Input and output. So what is the output here that you can see? Come on, I want you to give me the answers. What output do you see here? Number of patients treated. Yes. And what is the input? Tell me. What is the input? Number of doctors. What else you want? Number of doctors is input and output is number of patients treated, right? So great. Now you make a measure and tell me. A measure that covers both. A measure that covers both input and output. So what is the measure? Come on, everybody, guys. What's the measure that covers both? Okay, so that will be number of patients treated per doctor. Right. Number of patients treated per doctor will be the good one. Patients per doctor will be the good one. Patients per doctor. So let's work out. 24,375 patients divided by 25 doctors. Okay. For the national, 20,000 divided by 24. Okay, great. So patients per doctor. How many patients treated per doctor? Let's work out the answer. 24,375 divided by 25. It's not, it's 25. So divide by 25. 975 patients treated by one doctor in our hospital. Whereas for the national, 833 patients treated by one doctor. So in our, patients treated per doctor is 975, whereas national patients treated per doctor is 833. Come on, guys, what's your feedback? Understood? Okay. Now, tell me why you chose this one. Why you chose this one? Because this indicator is focusing on efficiency, which is covering both the output and the input. Both the output and the input. Okay? Right. So it's 975 versus 833, and justification is the number of patients treated per year by each doctor is a good measure of efficiency because it covers both patients and the doctor. Okay. Now measure the performance. Is it good or bad? Is it good or bad? So it's good. Our performance is good, which means our doctors are treating 975 patients, whereas national doctors are treating 833 patients. So we are good, right, guys? Come on, tell me. We are good. Okay, we are good, right? Okay. So why is that so? Why is that so? So you can quickly relate with the scenario. Why is that so? Why are doctors treating more? Wow, because doctors here work much longer hours than the colleagues in other hospitals. Awesome. Clap. Awesome. Doctors here work much longer hours than the colleague in other hospital, means that our doctors are working for more hours. Wow, done. Okay, That's it. Clear? Okay, done. So our doctors are working more hours. So it's a very simple one that we can mention here because they work longer hours than colleagues in the other hospital. So we are done with this one. Let's understand the marking scheme. 1 mark for calculation, 1 mark for justification, 1 mark for the performance evaluation, and 0.33 for a quick one about efficiency. That makes 3.33 marks for efficiency. Are you loving this, guys? Is it easy for you to handle? What's your feedback? Getting the confidence? Okay. Now, the last one completely for you. You tell me. Effectiveness measures achievement of the objective. Okay. So, do they want to give successful treatments? So what measure can you work out from here for effectiveness? So for effectiveness, what can we work out? Let me look here what you are saying here. Number of patients admitted, number of patients readmitted, number of patients readmitted. Okay. Satisfaction rating, not exactly, I would say. Main objective is what? Main objective of a hospital is treatment. What do you think? Yes? Main objective of the hospital is treatment, right? So a good measure will be percentage readmitted. Percentage readmitted. How to work out this? 130 patients were readmitted out of 24,375. Okay. Whereas for competitor or national, 300 readmitted out of 20,000. Okay. Right. So let's quickly work out and jump to the conclusion. And then we're all set to move towards transfer pricing. Exciting transfer pricing. So 7.5% were readmitted, whereas the national, wow, just 1.5% readmitted. Just 1.5%. 7.5% readmitted in our case and 1.5 readmitted in case of national, which means, are we good or not? Come on, decide. Are we good or not? Are we good or not? We are bad in effectiveness. Now, effectiveness is important or not? Yes, effectiveness is very important for an organization. So we are bad in effectiveness, right? Now, why you come to hospital? You come to hospital for readmission? No, you don't come to hospital for readmission. Okay. So this means we are not good in this area. Quickly, let's wind up. 0.33 marks, a quick one for effectiveness. Then 7.5% in our case and 1.5% in case of national. Why you chose this one? Why you chose this indicator? Tell me. Why you chose this indicator? You chose this indicator because it is giving you the idea whether we are giving high quality treatments or not. So did it was mentioned in the objectives? Yes, it was. High quality medical treatments, right? It was mentioned here. High quality medical treatments. So this indicator is good one where patients are readmitted because their treatment had failed. This represents a failure to provide high quality medical care mentioned in the objective that I showed you before. So this is a good indicator and the business is not going good here. This means the performance is relatively poor in this respect. Okay. So we are not performing good here. Are you getting my point? Okay, so 1 mark for calculation, 1 mark for justification, 1 mark for assessment of performance, and this makes 3.33 marks, and we are done here. Okay, now to summarize what happened, let's summarize what happened. Because we saved by not paying overtime to the staff, okay, our economy went good, right? Economy went good. We asked them to work for longer hours, so they treated more patients. So our efficiency went good, right? But what happened in return? Whatever treatments they were doing, that were not good treatments, and that spoiled the effectiveness. See the impact? They did save in cost by working, by asking people to work overtime without payment. They did make them work more because they had to deal with more patients. But at the end of the day, what they could not achieve was quality. So they compromised on quality. They saved their costs. They treated more patients. But at the end of the day, their objective is unachieved. Which means effectiveness is not good. Got it, guys? What is your feedback? What is your feedback regarding this session today? Did you understood the method, the way I break everything? Okay. Now the last thing I need to answer here, because someone asked me, can we write in tabular form? So no, not in tabular form. This tabular form just made things easy for you to understand. The purpose of this was just to make it easy. The purpose of was just to break this into different parts according to the marking scheme. But in your examination, you will perform calculations first, and then you will write in paragraph. You can use headings of economy, efficiency in 3 headings. Okay, in 3 headings you can use economy 1 heading, efficiency 1 heading, and effectiveness 1 heading, and just write these all in paragraphs and do the workings above first. Did you get my point, my friends? Is Rizwan Mania getting successful in making this easy for you people? Okay, thank you. So we are done with this area of 15-mark question. I hope you understood the way what you have to do. Now it's time for a big game, transfer pricing. Ready, everybody? Another calculative area, difficult one. Yeah, calculations above. First do the calculations, and then you can just write in 3 paragraphs of economy, efficiency, effectiveness. So working overtime, as I mentioned, working overtime and not getting payment for that overtime resulted in dissatisfaction for them, and that had an impact on their effectiveness, which means they were not doing good treatments, and that is why readmissions came, and readmission means objective is not achieved. Okay, compromise, exactly. So I hope now you can handle a question like this in paper when it comes to 3 E's. Will you be able to? Will you be confident? Yeah? Okay, right. Please, those who are not part of today's session, if you know your friends are not here, do tell them to watch this session for sure. Transfer pricing. Let's make this easy for you now. Transfer pricing. It's time for past paper. Wow. We just start the topic and it's a past paper. So let's start with the past paper. I hope you did like my technique of starting with a question and then going back towards the topic. The first 2 days were using a different strategy. The next 2 days are using a different strategy. And this shows how much I think to improve. Continuously, I've worked really hard in these 4 days to make things more and more simple for you to understand. I hope you appreciate the small effort that I'm doing for you people. Okay. So if you need more webinars like this, you can request ACCA, but allow me that I can conduct more webinar days for you people. Okay, I'm ready. Road hack, a challenging question to be honest. Road hack made people cry in the exam. When road hack was tested, people were crying literally. Blood came into their eyes. There was a waterfall of blood after the exam center. I get my point. So road hack is tough. Transfer pricing is tough. And I have done a good analysis on that. I'll tell you different type of questions that can come on transfer pricing. I've made a category of that. Wow, category. And if you remember my categories of transfer pricing, in paper you can handle, okay, this is this type of a question, this type of a question, and this type of a question. Okay? So, road hack, company. Now, one thing, because you know what transfer price is, first of all. If you don't know, I'll give you a quick idea. Transfer price is revenue per unit for the supplying division and cost per unit for the receiving division. Okay? Cost per unit for the receiving division. Getting the point? So, if I give you a quick example here relating to this, so that will make easy for you to understand. Just understand the basic concept that I'm setting up in your mind. Okay? For example, Division A, Division B, these are two divisions of a same company and they do business with each other. They trade with each other, okay? So, Division A produces one product known as caps and it delivers the caps to B and B makes a complete product, pen, and that pen is then sold in the market. Okay, just understand the basics. I'm setting up the basics here. It sells pen in the market. Okay, now Division A and Division B. So Division A has a cost of 5 for this pen. Sorry, for this cap. You know what cap is? Yeah, cap. And just in case Division A asks Division B, how much will you pay me? So in return, Division B says, we are part of a same company. How can you charge a profit from me? For example, okay, B is trying to play tricks here. Try to understand quickly. So B will say, come on, I'm part of the same company. You can give me at your cost, okay? Okay. A says, okay, fine. So A says, okay, I'll just transfer this for 5. My cost is 5. I'll transfer this for 5 and I will have no profit, no issues. You're part of my company. So transfer price is revenue per unit for the supplying division. So for A, it's revenue, whereas it is cost for the receiving division, which means it's a cost for B. Got it? It's a cost for B. Okay. B receives the cap for 5, incurs further cost, maybe of $2, let's suppose, $3, let's suppose, okay, and sells this pen in the market for 10, and it earns a profit of 2. Awesome. Okay, earns a profit of 2. Great. Now there is meeting at the end of the year, and group, the head office, calls division A and B both and asks division B the revenue and the profit, and ask division A the revenue and the profits. Okay, now group started doing the calculation. So remember, any transaction that is being done by two divisions of the same company will not be incorporated in the group. You know the concept of what we say, consolidation, right? At the group level, intra-company transactions are cancelled out. We know that, right? Say yes or no. Yeah, you know that. So at group level, we'll cancel these two out. Okay? We'll cancel these two out. So we'll take the genuine figures. So the genuine figure is 10, revenue, this 5, this 3. So from group perspective, any business is being done within the division. For group, it's not a business. Think like this: father and 2 sons. Sons are doing business with each other and they live in the same house. For father, that business will be a business. Come on, say yes or no. No, for father, that will not be a business. Father will say, you both live in the same house. For me, trading between 2 is not a business. So that is group. Profit is 2. Very quickly, try to understand what I'm telling you here. Very quickly. Group is earning a profit of 2. Okay. Now, group is asking A, how much profit you earn? A said 0. B, how much you earn? B said 2. So group was of the opinion that it was B, because of which I earned 2, which means because B earned 2, I got 2. Okay, understood, guys? So at the group level, transfer price is not considered because it's an intra-company transaction. At group, it is cancelled out. Now the group says to B, wow, B, you perform so well, so we'll give you a bonus. Okay, so division B received the bonus, whereas division A didn't receive the bonus. Now what do you think? Will division A be motivated or demotivated? It will be demotivated, right? Yes, it will say, wow, that's so bad. I'm not getting the bonus. Why? B is getting the bonus. So group gave bonus to B. Okay. Now A realized later on that we both are profit centers. Who are we? We are profit centers, and being profit center, we need to earn profits. Okay? We need to earn profits. So now what? A will do? Just listen what I'm saying quickly. A said, okay, last time I sold this product on the basis of my cost, but now I'll not do this. Now I'll sell you this for 7. Okay, let's see the impact. If A is selling for 7, so the profit of A will be 2. The transfer price is 7, which means the revenue for A is 7 and the cost for B is 7. You are with me, everybody? Say yes or no. I'm just setting up the basis for my question. Say yes or no. Clear? Agreed? Okay. Now what will happen if A is selling the cap of pen for 7 and B receiving the cap for 7? So the cost of B now will be 7 plus 3, 10. And how much it is selling in the market? It is selling in the market for 10, which means it will have no profit. No profit. Agreed? Okay. Now, the same situation happened. Group called the 2 divisions and group started doing its own calculation. So for group only, we have to consider those revenue and costs that relates that are genuine ones, not intra-company. Because at intra-company, we cancel out the intra-company transaction at the time of consolidation, okay? So the genuine figures are 10, 5 and 3, same. And the profit of the group is again 2, 10 revenue, 5 costs, 3 other costs and 2. Now, group asked the same question. Division B, how much you earned? Division B said nothing, 0. Division A, how much you earned? Division A said, I earned a profit of 2. With full, with full motivation and energy, I earned 2. Okay. So now group gave bonus to which division? The one who achieved profit. So bonus was given to A with no bonus given to B. Okay. So what is the bottom line from this example? What is the bottom line? Listen, what is the bottom line? The bottom line is that whatever the transfer price is, I'll change the color of the pen, whatever the transfer price is, whether it was 5 or 7, group profits remain unchanged. Until and unless, remember what I'm saying, just note it down. Until and unless divisions are trading with each other, group profits will not change. Group profits will not change. Group received 2 before as well and 2 again. So group profits are not changing. Okay. But by the change in transfer price, what happened? Individual profits got affected. Which means if two divisions are trading with each other, okay, listen what I'm saying and write it down. If two divisions are trading with each other, so group profits will not change, whereas a change in transfer price will have an impact on individual profits. As you saw earlier, division B was earning 2 and now division A is earning 2 because transfer price is revenue for one and cost for the second one. So a change in transfer price changes revenue for one and changes cost for the other. A basic message I gave you here. Message 1. If divisions are trading with each other, group profits will remain unchanged, but a change in transfer price will change individual division's profit. Is the basic concept clear? Say yes or no. Understood the basic concept? Come on. Here you need to be really attentive, okay? Great. Perfect. Now, the base is clear. Transfer price, a price which is used by two divisions when they trade with each other. So let's move towards types of transfer pricing. In theory or theoretically, general rule is the best way to arrive at the transfer price. In theory, this is the best way. Try to understand what I'm saying here. In theory, general rule is the best way to arrive at the transfer price. And what is that? Marginal cost. Marginal cost plus opportunity cost. Marginal cost plus opportunity cost. Okay? What is marginal cost? It's a variable cost. What is opportunity cost? We know that. Contribution foregone. Contribution foregone by not selling externally. Contribution foregone by not selling externally. Okay? So the best rule is general rule. Okay? That's fine. So the bases are here. Note down what is general rule. Marginal cost plus opportunity cost. What is marginal cost? It's the variable cost. What is opportunity cost? Contribution foregone by not selling externally. By not selling externally. Are you getting the point, my friends? Great, great. Now, ROTAC is a complicated question and I'll try to make this easy. For that, you need to be patient. You need to be with me till the end. I'll repeat different things, different times, and will make this clear in your mind. But you need to be patient for that. Okay? Don't ask questions until and unless I finish. Now, let's move towards the types of transfer pricing question tested in exams. A common requirement has been tested where you are required to prepare profit statement for two divisions and also for the company. Very much calculation based. Portable garage and bath company are the examples. I have done these two questions in previous webinars. I will share the link in the $1 Million Plan so that you can watch those and just improve yourself. Get it? Okay. Other type of question is required to advise transfer price or prices considered in the case. Now, this is also a very common type of question where you are required to advise. Now, listen what I'm saying. If you are required to advise and there is no method given to follow how you have to advise, there is no method. If I ask you advice, so you will say, no, which method I have to use for giving advice. If nothing is mentioned and if you are required to advise, so we use general rule in that case. What we do? We use general in that case. I'm making this really straightforward now. So we use general rule in that case. And that is more narrative with supporting calculation. Examples, MOB Company, June 2015, ROTAC Company, June 2014. I'll share you the link of MOB as well. ROTAC is what we are solving right now. Third type of question that comes may include the consideration of the impact on profits if different transfer price is used or if purchases are made from external suppliers instead. So that is calculation and narrative support is required. So I've made three categories. I hope you, once you will read these categories later on, you will understand, okay, what is the difference? Okay? Okay. Now, having said there are three categories, you have to decide which one is used here. So I'll quickly jump here towards it. See how I'm controlling the things. Now, here I am. Just read the requirement and tell me which type of question you think. Type 1, the first one. Type 2, the second one. Type 3, the third one. Which you think is being tested here. Requirement says advise using suitable calculations the total transfer price or prices at which components should be supplied to gearbox division. Gearbox is basically the buying division. From CC Co, it's the selling division. Okay. So advise using suitable calculation. Come on, tell me. What do you think? Which type of category suits here? If I quickly show you the category again. Now, this is the best way to understand which type of question you think is being tested here. Come on, guys, it's a straightforward question I'm asking you people. Showing you everything in front of you. Come on, reply, please. Obviously, it's the second one. Advise. You have to advise. Now, when you are required to advise and there is no method assigned, so we use general rule as an advice. What we use? Right here, what we use? General rule. Yeah. Okay? General rule. So, you use general rule. Now, listen. When you use general rule, okay? When you use general rule, you have to remember these $1 million points. Wow. When you use general rule, you have to use these $1 million points. What other points? Always read the question and identify current policy. Current policy means the one that they are following right now. And if given, the proposed policy. Now, what is proposed policy? Any new policy that they are recommending, if there is any. So, $1 million point number 1. $1 million point 2. If you're using general rule, if policy is to maximize group profits or nothing mentioned, like in our case, in ROTAC, nothing is mentioned, we just have to give advice. Sometimes it does mention to maximize group profits, okay? So if nothing is mentioned, find minimum transfer price from seller's perspective and use general rule for that. Minimum transfer price, okay? I hope I'm very much clear here. Second, find maximum transfer price from buyer's perspective and maximum figure is given in the question. Wow, it's given in the question. Are you getting the point? Relax and listen. Let me complete this and then you will feel okay, you know what exactly you have to do. And then from group perspective, find a range using minimum and maximum. This is maximum and this is minimum. So you'll find a range. Agreed? Okay. So let's practically use this. Let's move towards the question. ROTAC company group comprises two companies, WCO and CCO. WCO is a trading company with two divisions. Okay. The design division, which designs wind turbines and supplies the design to customers under licenses, and the gearbox division, okay, which manufactures gearbox for the car industry. Agreed. CCO manufacture components for gearboxes. CCO is the other company, right? It manufactures gearboxes, components for gearboxes. It sells components globally, which means it has an external market and also supplies WCO with components for its gearbox manufacturing division. Okay, agreed. So this means CCO is the seller. CCO is the seller. Getting the point? CCO is the seller. And CCO sells externally as well as internally. Right? Now we are provided with this information about their financials. Part A. You have to solve this yourself. I will provide you the answer today. Discuss the performance of CCO and each division of WCO calculating using following three performance measures. You have to work out ROS, asset turnover, and operating profit margin. There are 4.5 marks available for calculation and 5.5 marks available for discussion. So this is what you have to do by your own. I provided the answer. 10 marks. Second, B. CCO is currently working to full capacity. So this is very important to note. CCO is what? Seller or a buyer? Determination of seller and buyer is extremely important, friends. So CCO is what? Come on, right here. Seller or buyer? CCO is seller. Okay. The ROPAC group policy. Now, $1 million points did mention what? Current policy. Okay. So let's go here and see. Group policy is that group companies and division must always make internal sales first before selling outside the group. Okay. So it's compulsory for them to sell internally first. Similarly, purchases must be made from within the group wherever possible. However, group divisions and companies are allowed to negotiate their own transfer prices without interference from head office. So head office will not interfere, you can set your own prices. Okay. CCO has always charged the same price. Listen, current pricing, current policy. Same price to the gearbox is buyer, right? As it does to external customers. Which means it is charging the market price. It is charging the market price to the internal division. Market price. However, after being offered a 5% lower price from similar components from an external supplier, the manager of gearbox feels strongly that transfer price is too high and should be reduced. Okay. So buying division got an offer from the external market that we will sell this 5% lower price. We'll give you 5% lower price. So now the buyer is saying, okay, should I go for it? And my transfer price internal is high because I can buy from outside market. Listen, CCO currently satisfies 60% of the external demand for its component, which means 40% it is not fulfilling. Its variable cost represents 40% of revenue. Now, why it's not fulfilling 40%? Because of the group policy. And what's the group policy? The group policy is that first you have to sell to the internal division, which means because of the internal division, it is not fulfilling its external demand completely and thus fulfilling 60% of that. Are you clear about this, everybody? I'll make this a piece of a cake for you. Okay, got it? Scenario clear? Now, advice is required from you people using suitable workings. So, workings are supportive here, narrative is more here, writing part is more here because it's advice. The verb is advice. Transfer prices at which components should be supplied to gearbox. Now, if you are required to advise and no method is given here, do you think any method is given? that you to use for advice? Any method given? Say yes or no. No method is given. So if no method is given, you will always give advice using general rule. Make a rule for yourself in transfer price. If nothing is given, use general rule as for your advice. Agreed? Clear? Okay, done. Now, as per my today's plan, it's 6 here, 5 minutes break. Let's refresh ourselves for transfer price because I will get into the scenario like anything, I'll be in depth. We'll swim in depth. So let's refresh ourselves 5 minutes and then you can be with me and we'll start again. If you are not part of my WhatsApp groups, please, this is my number. Send me a WhatsApp message to become part of the group and get the support till the end before the exam. See you in 5 minutes time. Okay, welcome back. So I hope I'm punctual here, giving you 5 minutes break, and in 5 minutes I'm back because this is exciting transfer pricing, and I have to make this easy for you people as well. Okay. So guys, are you ready? Say yes or no. Okay. So now let's start. Let's begin. Now, how to approach general rule. How to approach general rule. That I now will let you know. You know that we have to follow general rule, right? But now I'll tell you how to approach general rule. So first we need to take seller's perspective. Okay. So let's first take seller's perspective. Right now, don't focus on how to write theory. That I'll make easy for you. Just understand what exactly I'm doing here. Okay. Just understand what exactly I'm doing here. Okay. Now, because the question is different one. It's not a normal question. First, as we are required to advise, so we will use general rule. Be with me, everybody. It's more narrative one, but I'm just explaining you the mindset, the thought process that you have to keep in your mind before you write. So first we need to understand the seller's perspective, and as written, for that we need to find the minimum transfer price. Okay, minimum. Okay, so minimum is what I need here. Now, how to go about things. The way I am telling you, think always like this, and theory will also be written like this. First, what you do? First, what you do? First, you start with the total capacity. Start with the total capacity. Okay, total capacity. Now, right now we don't have units here. This question is different because it has never mentioned about units. It is mentioning only the value of sales. It is giving us the value only. So we have to handle this question keeping in mind the values. We'll apply all our general rule concepts based on the values only. Okay. So be with me. I would say that we are not working per unit. We are doing total workings. And why is that? Because the question that is given to us has only mentioned about the total figures. As you can see here, total figures are given here, only total. So we have to use the total figures only. Okay. Now, if I start first, what is the total sales that the company is doing? So the question says, follow everything. Okay, follow everything. A small distraction at your home or workplace will increase the confusion. The question says the seller is working at full capacity. So seller is working at full capacity. I'm using a different color here now so that you can understand these points relates to what I'm saying right now. The seller is working at full capacity, which means right now working at full capacity, they are able to earn a revenue of how much? So C company. So C company is selling externally and generating a revenue of 8010, and it is selling to Gearbox, and the revenue it is earning is 7550, and this is at its 100% capacity, which is full capacity. Agreed? Okay. You should know that the question is stated that currently it is working, currently it is fulfilling 60% of the external demand, which means the revenue that you are seeing here, 8010, is basically 60% fulfilling the external market. Agreed? And why are they not fulfilling completely is because of the internal market they have, because the policy of the group is that first they have to sell internally and then they can sell externally, which means first they are fulfilling the internal demand. Agreed? First they are fulfilling the internal demand. Are you getting my point? First they are fulfilling the internal demand. Okay? So they are fulfilling the internal demand completely, obviously, because it's the group policy, right? That they have to first sell to the internal division. It's a condition on them. So this is the sales value that they are getting by selling internally, which means they are fulfilling the complete internal demand, and then what is left with them, they are selling that externally. Agreed? Say yes, everybody. I'll be asking questions at every step to ensure your understanding. Be fast in replying me. Agreed? Okay, great. Step by step, let's move on. Now, this means that at its 100% capacity, it is earning a revenue of 15,560. It is earning a revenue of 15,560. In this question, we don't have number of units. But the other question that was tested in June 15 MOBCO, there were in that question, there were units given. So when you will watch that video, the link I'll give you today. So in that video, you will find that the units were given, and I'm writing units here instead of the value. But in Rotak company, as units are not mentioned here, so I'm using the values here. Getting the point? Okay. So every time say yes. Okay. Okay. Please use ACCA's platform. Listen, it's a narrative question. I will tell you using ACCA platform when we write the theory. I'm just explaining you the concepts right now. And when you will understand the concept and when time will come to write the theory, then I will tell you how to write using ACCA platform. Please try to understand. I know everything, okay? Okay, so let's move on. 15,560 is the total revenue that you are getting from 100% capacity. Agreed? Okay. Now, first, when you think about seller's perspective, the first thing that you have to always think is about the total capacity, either in units, like in MOP company, when you will watch the video, either in value. Start from total capacity. If units are given, start from units. If value is given right now, start from the value. Agreed? Then look at the external demand. Then look at the external demand. Okay. And here we have to look at the total external demand. When we are thinking about the minimum transfer price, so we look at the total external demand. Getting the point? Now, for that, what we are supposed to do? I have a figure of 8010, but this is not total external demand. You tell me how much percent is this? Come on, let's be interactive here. How much percent is this? Fast, please. It's 60%. Okay. So what I need as per my format is total, and this is 60%. So can I work out total here? Yes, I can. 8010 is 60%, right? So if I divide this with 60% and multiply with 100, so will I get the total external demand? If someone can write and tell me what is that? I want your input here, so I'll just follow your answers as well. It's 13,350. Someone wrote here. 13,350 is the right figure. Okay, let me just work out myself because there is some confusion at your part. Divided by 0.6, so 13,350, right? So the external demand overall is 13,350, which means you are only fulfilling 60% of that, okay? Now, let's imagine, listen, and this is every time you have to think, whether it's Rotak company or whether it's a mob company. When you want to advise, you have to follow general rule, and you have to follow general rule. You have to keep this format in your mind. Just lock it. So if you have total capacity of 15,560, which you can fulfill, and if external demand, if you fulfill the complete external demand of 13,350, so how much is spare capacity you have after fulfilling external demand? Let me work out myself. 20 to 10. Do you agree with me? So 20 to 10 is the spare capacity you have. Just listen. The total capacity to earn the revenue is 15,560 that you are earning right now. If you would have fulfilled the entire external market of 13,350, then you are left with 20 to 10 as spare capacity if there were units. So here you would have seen units. Right now it's revenue, so you are seeing revenue here. Agreed? So 20 to 10 is the spare capacity that can earn a revenue of 20 to 10 for you. Agreed? Let's start like this always. Now, how much is the internal demand that we are fulfilling right now? So let's go to the question. The internal demand that we are fulfilling right now in terms of revenue, not units, in terms of revenue is 7,550. And is it 100% that we are fulfilling right now? The answer is yes. Why? Because it's the group policy that you have to fulfill internal demand first. Okay. 7,550. Okay. Now, if I ask you here, can you tell me how are we fulfilling the internal demand right now? How are we fulfilling? What compromise we are doing right now to fulfill internal demand? So your answer will be to fulfill internal demand of 7,550. First of all, we can easily use our spare capacity, and by this spare capacity, we can fulfill the internal demand of $20 to $10. Agreed? Say yes. Step by step, I'll move on. Say yes. Okay, agreed. So everybody says yes. So first, I will fulfill the internal demand through the spare capacity. Now, how much I'm left with? A quick number crunching. 7,550 minus 221. How much I'm left with? Can anyone tell me how much I'm left with? The screen is very far away, so I can't exactly see the numbers. It's 5340, right? So I'm left with 5340. Now tell me, how will I fulfill this one? How will I fulfill this one? Come on, tell me. through what? Okay, I can fulfill this by external purchase. Hello, please concentrate. The group has a policy to fulfill internal demand first, right? So it's my responsibility to first sell to the internal division. So how will I fulfill this? So I will fulfill this by shifting from external sales. Shift from external sales. I will compromise my external sales and will fulfill internal sales. Agreed? Agreed? Say yes. This is the only option I have to shift from external sales. Agreed? Okay. Now, you'll be shocked to see this one. You'll be shocked to see this one. The external demand is 13,350, right? Okay. And you are not able to fulfill this external demand completely, say yes. So out of this, how much you fulfill right now? You fulfill 8010. Now, can you calculate the difference of these two figures? Can you calculate the difference of these two figures? And you will be shocked to see. Can you calculate the difference of these two figures? 5340. Have you seen this figure few minutes before as well? And where? Have you seen this figure few minutes before as well and where? Yes, yes. Understood? Understood? Which means you are not fulfilling the external market by 5340 because you have shifted that external sales to internal sales. Like this. Like this. Because you have shifted that to internal sales. Understood, my friends? See how I've made this easy for you to relate. That's why I'm asking you again and again to say yes. So if you see here that external market was 13,350 and you are achieving 8010, so you are not achieving this by 5340, and you know why? Because that has been shifted towards internal sales to fulfill internal sales because this is the group policy. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for your very appreciating feedbacks. I know this is helpful and this is what homework I do every time. Okay. Now, I think every time how to make this easy for you, and I come up with new things. If you look at my previous webinars, every webinar will give you new techniques to learn. Okay. Now, is this clear? This is clear. And I'll tell you how to draft this as well very easily now. Now, which rule we have to apply? We have to apply general rule. Whenever we are asked to advise, we follow general rule. Agreed? Okay. And what was the general rule? So let's go back and see the formula. The formula of general rule was, general rule, marginal cost plus opportunity cost. Agreed? Okay. Let's apply the formula because I want to advise, right? Now I want to advise what price should I charge, keeping in mind general rule. Marginal cost plus opportunity cost. Okay. Now let's start first with the shift one. The shift one. Listen. Now you tell me 5340 is the revenue I'm shifting from external sales to internal sales. Agreed? So what is the variable cost of this figure? So if you go to the question, it was very clearly mentioned that variable cost represents 40% of the revenue. Okay. Now, can you tell me the figure, please? I'm asking you, what is the variable cost of this figure 5340? So it's very simple to work out. 5340 multiplied by 40% of this figure is your variable cost. Can anyone tell me the figure? I can't see the figure. I can't see the figure. Okay, I need to work out myself then. It's 2136. Just learn the concept here. First, let's build up the concept. 2136. Okay, and then I'll show you the shortcut. So this is the marginal cost, the variable cost. Okay. Now, just try to understand what I'm doing. Let's compute opportunity cost. Just imagine, because I'm shifting this from external sales, okay? Just imagine, if I don't shift this from external sales, so I would have sold this in the external market, and what revenue I would have earned? Obviously, I could have earned 5340. Agreed? Say yes. I would have earned 5340, right, by selling in the external market. Because right now the question has mentioned that we are charging the same price from the internal division as we are charging from the external market. Okay. So if I sell this in the external market, I could have charged 5340, and if I deduct my marginal cost from this, and what is the marginal cost? 2136, which means if I sell this in the external market for 5340, and if I deduct my marginal cost of 2136, can anyone of you tell me the difference here? The difference is 3240, right? Can you tell me what is this? Can you tell me what is this? I'm asking everything from you people. What is this? What you will call this figure as? It's the contribution. Awesome. It's the contribution that I'm earning from external market. Okay. So if I sell for 5340 in external market and 40% is my marginal cost, so I am earning 2340 as my contribution. Now, because I am shifting this in internal division, so this is my loss of contribution. Say yes. And if this is my loss of contribution, so this is my opportunity cost. I'm just building up the concept from a question. It's my opportunity cost. Agreed? It's my opportunity cost, because right now I have shifted this towards the internal division because of the group policy. So I will now incur the loss of 3240, and I will charge this loss to the internal division, because this is general rule which says that marginal cost plus opportunity cost. So this loss of contribution is my opportunity cost that I'll charge here. Now if you add these two, what figure will you get? What figure will you get? So you are getting back 5340, which is now making clear that this is the external selling price. This is the external market price, which means that it's obvious now that even if you don't work out this, you know that whatever you are getting from the external market, you will charge that to the internal division. Wow. Even you don't work out these two things, you know the concept now, and that is you will charge minimum that you are charging from the external market, right? Now, if I ask you, will you want to sell this for less than 5340? Say me, tell me, tell me. No, no, why? Tell me why. Let's talk here. Tell me why. Tell me why. Because you will say that I can get the same revenue from external market. If I can get the same revenue from external market, why should I sell you for less than 5340? Yes, yes. This means this figure is what? Maximum for you or minimum for you? Minimum. Minimum you want to charge 5340 because you can't go below this figure. And why? Because this is what you are getting from the market. This is what you are getting from the market. So this is the minimum figure for you. Yeah, it will be, you will be really excited to get more than this price from internal division, right? But this is the minimum. You can't go below this because you're getting it in the market. So instead of doing this working, conceptually, if you are clear, so you can directly pick up the price that you will not sell less than what you are getting from the external market. This is the concept. This is the concept. No need to show marginal cost or opportunity cost. The concept is we will not go below this figure because I'm getting this in the market. Agreed? Concept clear? Say yes. Everybody, come on, everybody, say yes. Okay, now the revenue that I'm earning by using my spare capacity 2210, what is the 40% of this revenue? Can anyone tell me 40% of this revenue? Let's apply general rule here. What is the 40% of this revenue? It's 884. Yeah, it's 884. 884. Okay, so is it 884, guys? Say yes or no. Is it 884? Yeah, is it 884? Now, this is your spare capacity, right? So, are you losing anything by selling this to the internal division? The answer is yes or no? No, you're not losing anything. You are not losing anything. Which means your opportunity cost here is how much? Your opportunity cost here is how much, guys? Tell me. It's zero. It's zero. Agreed? Your opportunity cost here is zero. Okay? So this means 884 is minimum you can charge for using your spare capacity. Say yes or no. Tell me yes or no. Yeah? So for this you can charge variable cost. This is minimum. But listen what I'm saying. You can charge minimum 884, but obviously you want to charge more than that. Obviously, you want to charge more than that, but this is the minimum that you can charge. And yes, I did mention that in general rule, the first point says minimum. Find out the minimum. So this is the minimum. Agreed? Guys, tell me. Agreed? So this is the minimum, but you want to charge more than that. So now what is the total that you can offer to the buyer? Total that you can offer to the buyer is what? 884 minimum I'm talking about. Minimum, okay? Plus 5340. So can you tell me the minimum that you can charge the buyer considering these two? That is 6224. 6224. Yes. Is the concept clear? Come on, tell me. Then I'll quickly now move towards drafting of this part. Understood the way I explained you the scenario? Helpful? Okay. Now, why I have taken variable cost? Because general rule says that transfer price should be marginal cost plus opportunity cost. Now, if you don't have any opportunity cost for this figure, so 884 is the minimum. But I'm not saying that we want to sell this for 884, but yeah, it's the minimum where we want to sell, but we'll try to get more. Minimum, you know what minimum is? Because there is spare capacity. That is why I'm saying marginal cost only. Spare means extra capacity you have, unused capacity you have. Okay. So now if I add these two, so will this figure be minimum that I will want to charge to the buyer? Minimum means, you know minimum, right? I would want to go more than that. I would love to go more than that, but this is the minimum because we are giving an advice. So for advice, general rule, in case of spare capacity, the minimum is marginal cost, and in case of shifting from the external market, the minimum is this figure. Agreed? Okay. Now let's see the drafting. How you need to draft this. I have drafted myself, to be honest, just to make it simple for you. And let me show you. Because this is a narrative question, because the verb was advice. Okay, so here we are. Let's look at the drafting part. Now, whatever you will see right now is what you have to do in the paper. So, remember, the tip of the day was answer pointers. Think from seller perspective, minimum. Think from buyer perspective, maximum. And group perspective, range. Just think in paper. Make a short plan and then use that as a heading. So let's start from the seller's perspective first. Now, what all I just explained to you is what I'm writing here, and this is what you have to do in a question where you have to advise. So what all I've explained to you is what you have to write. You don't have to show this working, this lengthy working. No. In fact, you have to write what all I've written here. So see, I will exactly repeat all this in a sentence form. See, and you will love it. The current total capacity of CECO achieves a total sales of 8010,5 15,560. This is the supporting calculation that you have to do. Supporting calculation. That's it. Considering if CCO were not making internal sales, then given that it already satisfied 60% of the external demand, it would not be able to sell all of its current production to the external market. External sales are 8010, which represents 60%. So that the total external demand will be this divided by this is 13350. Getting the point? Getting the point, guys? This is my supporting calculations in this category. Considering this, the spare capacity will be 15,560 minus 13,350 is 2,210. In order to satisfy the current internal demand of 7,550, it is using its spare capacity of 2,210, right? And for remaining is unsatisfying the external demand by 5340. Now what all I wrote here is exactly what all I did the working here. Do you agree with me? Say yes or no. Anything different? Is the drafting clear? You will watch a similar question like this of June 15 mob company. You solve on your own and then watch my video answer a webinar and you will see a hell of a difference in your approach. Then give me feedback on WhatsApp group whether it's working or not. Okay? Now, from CCO's perspective, this 5340, this one, could be sold externally if they were not sold to gearbox division. Therefore, in order for CCO not to be any worse off, now what it means? At least you charge the same amount that you are getting from the external market. From selling internally, these sales should be made at current price of 435340. Getting the point? So we will not show the working of marginal cost and the opportunity because we know the concept in our mind that that will be equal to what I am getting from the external market. Yes, less any internal savings if there are any. For example, if there are any internal savings by selling internally in terms of distribution cost or packaging cost, that you can deduct, but not below than that. Agreed? Okay. As regard remaining internal sales of 2210, company effectively has spare capacity to meet these sales. Therefore, minimum transfer price should be marginal cost of producing these goods. Given that variable cost represents 40% of the revenue, this means that marginal cost for these is 884. Everything we did in our workings. That was just to explain you the concept. This is therefore minimum price which CC should charge for these sales. Minimum, it says minimum. In total, therefore, CC will want to charge 6224 at least for its sales to gearbox division. Tell me, is it easy now? Is it easy now? Is it easy? You have to write this all without workings. Just show the supporting calculation that I have shown you in the paragraph. Is it useful? This is how I teach method wise. Understanding, my friends? Okay, I'll come to maximum one right now. Okay, now Let's now end this answer. So done? Yeah, done. Let's come back to $1 million points. $1 million points says use general rule for minimum. We are done. Find maximum transfer price, and that you have to do through buyer's perspective now. And see the biggest evidence and the biggest, what I can say, clue of that is given in the question itself. Always, always, always you can find maximum transfer price from buyer's perspective from the question. And I'll tell you how. See, now you offered buyer that I can sell you this at minimum 6224. So from buyer's perspective, what will be the maximum that buyer can pay? Obviously, if you are a buyer, you go to a market to buy shirts. I'm sure most of you always have made up your mind that I'll buy maximum $1,000 shirt. That's too much, in fact. Yeah, this is what we do. We always made up our mind. Okay, this is max I'll spend. That's it. I'll not go beyond that. Yeah. So buyer thinks about maximum, and after that they say I cannot. Your wish is to buy at a minimum one, but you know your maximum range in your mind as a buyer. Is this true? Say yes or no. So for buyer, the maximum is given in the scenario. So let's go to the scenario and see. I'll use a green color here. Now, however, after being offered 5% lower price for similar components from external supplier, the manager of gearbox division feels strongly that transfer price is too high and should be reduced. Got it? CC company charges same price to the gearbox, right? And what was that? Okay, so that was 7550. Some other company has offered 5% less than this. So if I reduce 5%, so what is the 95% of this figure? Come on, can you tell me? 95% of this figure. What's 95% of this figure? 7172.5. Now, if you are a buyer and someone else is offering you 5% lower, so for you, what will be the maximum now? The one that you are paying me or the one that you are getting from the market? You decide and tell me. What will be the maximum one? Come on, write it down here. Yeah, the external market offer. And as I mentioned in my $1 million points, that this will always be given in the scenario, because if it is not given, you can never get to know the maximum from buyer's perspective. Find in the scenario. That's it. Nothing to worry about. Simple. Okay. Clear? So the maximum from buyer's point of view will be 7172.5. 7172.5. Agreed, guys? Maximum. I know buyer will wish to pay less than this. But this will be the maximum. So $1 million points, where are you? Maximum transfer price from buyer's perspective given in the question. Okay. So this is what you have to write here. Yes. Let's look here. Another paragraph, heading. It's a subheading. Section C. Examiner tip was use subheadings. the gearbox division will not want to pay more for the components than it could purchase them from externally, given that it can purchase them all for 95% of the current price. This means maximum purchase price will be 7172.5. Okay, my friends, done, dusted. Now, $1,000,000 points. What's the last saying? Group perspective. Range by getting minimum and maximum values. Minimum and maximum values. So what is the range? Okay. So the range is, come on, can you tell me, guys, what your advice will be? Your advice will be, from group perspective, transfer price should lie between a range of 6224 and 7172.5. Yes, yes, my friends. Yes, this is your advice. It should lie between 6 and 7. What do you think? Easy. What's your feedback, guys? I know it's close to 7, but come on. You know, this is the toughest question student have ever faced. Just go to June 2014 examiner report, and the examiner mentioned worst answer from students. Worst answer from the students. Understood? Now, done. So this is what I have to write here. Overall, taking into account all the above, the transfer price for sale should be somewhere between this and this. And it says having no impact on group profits. Is it true, guys? Having no impact on group profits? If you're still unsure about this, so I have a very good support here, a very good evidence here, and the evidence is this example from where I started my explanation. See the example? Remember, you change the transfer price from 5 to 7, the group profits remained at 2. And I told you that whatever the transfer price is, if divisions are trading with each other, transfer price is different, agreed, but group profits will not change. Getting my point? So group profits will not change, whatever the transfer price will be between 6 and 7 figure. And this is what I explained you here when I was setting up the concepts. And yes, you have the concepts. So now listen, this is supporting calculations. These are supporting calculations. These are supporting calculations. These are supporting calculations. These are supporting calculations. Right in a paragraph form. This is second type of question that has been tested, the category I'm talking about. So now, what's your feedback first of all? Is it became easier for you to grip? Come on, what's your honest feedback? Did you like the technique? Yes, yes. If there is any internal saving of cost, like if you transfer internally, for example, and there is no packaging that will be required then, if no distribution is required then, so yeah, you can deduct that internal saving from this figure, and that will be minimum then. Okay, so yeah, this is also important. If there is any internal cost savings by transferring to the internal division in form of packaging or something like that, so yes, you can deduct that figure and that will be your minimum. Okay, so my friends, $1,000,000 points did the trick for you people, and this question ROTAC was solved in such a way that I hope this will not be problematic for you. Mob company is similar to this, whereas portable garage and bath are other type of questions that requires you to do computations. So I'll cover these in my $1,000,000 plan. Okay. Now, if you watch more, you know so much positive about this, how to advise. But in mob, there is no value of sales. There are units. So I think mob is much easier to understand because ROTAC was tough because there were no units here. It was all value based, and that is why I just made this step by step for you people. Okay, so $1,000,000 points. Would you rate these as good for you? Are these good $1,000,000 points? Okay. Now, section B, type questions, tip of the day. Read the case scenario requirements very carefully. Section B, be able to apply knowledge of theories and techniques to the scenario given. Section B, close reading is also important for identifying the instructions in question on how to round answers, especially the fill in the blanks. Okay, especially the fill in the blanks. So tomorrow we'll be doing lots of section Bs. Lots of section Bs. Okay, certain answers I'm sharing with you people that I gave you for homework. Come on, be with me before I tell you the $1,000,000 plan at the end. So these were given to you yesterday. The following circumstances may arise in relation to the launch of a new product. Come on, tell me the answers. Demand is relatively inelastic. There are significant economies of scale. The firm wishes to discourage new entrants to the market. The product life cycle is particularly short. Which of the above circumstances favor a penetration pricing policy? So in penetration, business reduces the price to discourage new entrants. Yes, yes. And there are significant economies of scale that helps you to reduce the cost and hence the price. So the answer is A. Okay. The rest two relates to skimming strategy. Which of the following statements regarding market penetration as a pricing strategy is or are correct? It is useful if significant economies of scale can be achieved. Is this true, guys? Yes, it's true. It is useful if demand for the product is highly elastic. So in case of penetration, elastic demand is helpful, which means a reduction in price will give you a big volume. So yes, both 1 and 2. Okay. Great. The rest two were also given to you for homework. I'll share the answer of these tomorrow. The $1,000,000 plan now will give you videos for financial, non-financials, ROI, RI, and transfer pricing other questions. Okay. I'll share that. And this is how you will be able to finish the other areas. Now, this is my number. Those who are new today, please WhatsApp me so that you become part of the group. Okay? And tomorrow is the last day of the webinar. So everybody must attend because I will give you a quick recap as well. We'll do a revision as well. So tomorrow is very important. Very important. Okay? Now, please give me your overall feedback about today's session. Overall, did the session improve your linking, your concepts, the way of handling the question? So how's your feedback about today's session, guys? The difficult areas, were they handled easily now? Will you be able to perform good in those areas? For more webinars, you can request ACCA. Okay? So I hope that today's session overall helped you in improving your weaker areas. Thank you very much for your feedback. Remember, tomorrow I will be sharing with you a plan that you need to follow in the remaining days. So be part of tomorrow's session, and I will give you a quick revision as well tomorrow, a quick revision of the topics that I've covered in the webinar. So that will be a very good confidence booster. So make sure you're part of tomorrow's last session. Until then, thank you very much. Send me the WhatsApp message if you're not part, and I'll share your $1 million plan and the link. Take care. Bye. For now, this is Rizwan Mania signing off.